Welcome back to Opus Magnum. I've been itching to play this game since last episode. I know I've only been through the tutorial, but I'm excited to try out these levels. So let's hop right into it. Chapter 1. We're now gonna make a waterproof sealant. Do you know much about ships, Concordia? Our merchant fleet delivers goods from overseas about once a month. Why? Captain Gelt told me they used to have some kind of substance they put on the hulls so that they don't rot. I don't know anything about it. Have you ever been on a ship? I haven't, no. You? Not at all. It sounds ghastly. Being tossed around the ocean, then getting eaten by sea monsters. I'm not sure all sea voyages are like that. Enough of them are. And that's fair. Glyph of multi-bonding. You can create up to 3 bonds at once. Do we need that? Oh, we definitely need that. Look at that product. Uh-oh. Well, we only have 2 reagents to work with as well. So this is the glyph of multi-bonding, which does seem like a pretty good glyph to use. Let's try to get the right structure. It's this right here. All right, as usual, we'll try to go for time efficiency, but as to how I want to do that, I'm not really sure. And I also need to make sure that these things don't like hit with other pieces. Okay, so actually let's just start with the simple part. Arm just moves to the piece. So we do a nice grab, rotate counterclockwise, and reset. Now this one requires kind of 2 pieces to be working together in some way. This isn't going to work because these are going to run into each other. Let's try to move 3 first. How about that? Let's make it 2. And then move 3. So if you have 2, pull out the orb, push it towards the center, then 3 won't have a problem. We'll do the quick grab, and then we'll rotate it counterclockwise twice. And it will be perfectly over the center now, after which you can reset, drop and go back to normal position. Now we need 3 to grab as soon as 2 is in the process of moving. So we'll add a grab here. I don't think I can do it there because the piece needs to be rotated first. So we'll grab, move clockwise once, and then reset. What does that do so far? That creates it, which is awesome. Is that the best? Maybe, not sure. Let's say I grab this piece and rotate it here. What would that look like? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just these 3 pieces, right? So we'll have the end result be like this. This rotation. And this is the piece that can move everything into place. Or what if we give more steps to 3? Moves here, and then pulls the piece somewhere here. Would this work? Let's try to rotate 3. See whether it puts everything in the final spot. Oh, it totally does. And then you reset. Here's the problem. I want 3 to be resetting while 2 is still in the process of moving. So this is wasted instructions right here. What is the reset? So it's drop, return back twice. Instead, let's do this. We start 3 by dropping the item, right? And we have it go back to original position during these 2 empty steps right here. So a counterclockwise, counterclockwise. So instead of resetting back to this position at the end and wasting everyone's time, it'll do it at the beginning. But we do need to account for the start. So start 3 at the very end. That looks pretty good to me. Nice. That was beautiful. I'm satisfied with that. With the sealant ready, the fleet should be soon ready to set sail again and bring back, well, whatever it brings. They're loaded with all kinds of things. Cloth, pottery, minerals, ores, rare herbs, strange stones. Sometimes even animals. Sounds like a good business. I'm not sure. Those contracts were drawn up centuries ago. I doubt even Armand knows the details. What sort of story are we trying to have here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So basically ships, voyages, they suck in this world. Don't go on them. Hangover cure. If I'd known I was to be tasked with curing a hangover. Oh, I bet I know who asked you for that. It was Captain Gelt, wasn't it? How'd you guess? It would be good for him to be at least somewhat functional in the mornings. Yes, seems prudent for the head of security for the entire house to not be totally incapacitated on a regular basis. Let's not go too far. She is a very level-headed person. Anataeus is all over the place, honestly. Okay, this one should be a fun one. Just 1 reagent have to kind of move 3 like levers at the same time. Don't know how this is gonna go. I can have 1 that moves this to this, 1 that moves this to this, and then empty space there. But the thing is, this needs to go to a glyph first, right? We need the glyph of calcification to make these two work. Now one here, another here. But the thing is, we don't want the last piece to go through the glyph of calcification. You want to do the calcification stuff first, and you want to do this piece last, because it doesn't require any transformation, right? But to be fair, the distance might still be the same. So let's say I had two glyphs like this. Well, I think this might be a really good point to start using extending arms. You could have one arm here. It retracts, rotates. Same on the opposite side, and then one right here that just passes through. Since you need to wait for the piece to regenerate, you want the last move to be as efficient as possible. That's why the last move should be an immediate just go inside. Well, yeah, I'm kind of like trying to subtly optimize for things like cost and stuff, but maybe let's just go for tossing some pieces in and seeing what we can do with it first. Can a track have multiple arms? So like I can have this here and then this here. Oh, it totally can. Okay, here's what we can do. While this arm grabs, and then both of these move towards the plus sign, this arm grabs and moves towards the minus sign. That could potentially work. So the first track is going to grab the piece. So while this piece moves towards the sign, this also does. And it grabs, right? So it grabs the piece, and then it needs to go back towards the minus sign and then drop. What we're going to do is, while this piece moves towards the minus sign, we're going to reset one as well. So in the meantime, in this step, he needs to drop the piece. So that should get our two pieces within 5 steps, right? That is awesome. That does what I want. And I think that's the most efficient. I think 5 steps, right, is the most efficient that I've noticed so far. I can't shorten it any more than that, right? In the meantime, we just wire up these guys. 3 is gonna grab as soon as it's dropped and then move it counterclockwise. Grab on step 3, rotate counterclockwise, and then reset. And then 4, it's a little bit worse for 4. So 4 needs to operate on this step. Grab, rotate counterclockwise, and then reset. Oh wait, wrong rotation. 4 needs to rotate clockwise. Cool. We need to work out the last piece. We got everything synced up so far. Now I think I'm just going to use a grabber to pull this straight up towards the center. I have a grabber here, stand here. Only after the first 2 pieces are done grabbing the item and moving out of the way, which would be where? Step 4, grabber 5 can start executing. It will grab, it will retract the piston, and then it will just reset. Nada may not be moved in 2 different directions at once. That's because this one's grabbing while this one's in the process of moving. So we need to move it over 1. There is a collision point somewhere. This step is the problem somehow, but why? Okay, I realize there is one problem with this. I'm not even using the triple glyph. Wait a second. That makes things a lot weird, doesn't it? 1 is somehow the problem, and I don't understand how. But what's making it move in 2 different directions once? Just have your own track. That works. So, okay, 1 is on a grab motion. It's dropped the motion. Wait, it grabbed again. Why did 1 grab again? Because you aren't extending till the length of the end sequence. You're moving on your own timeline, so you'll keep on cycling regardless of anyone else. Okay, that's good to know, but you know, the solution doesn't even work anyways. But the key thing is for me to use this. Something like this should be like the end state. Here, let's have just these rotators from the get-go. 2 grabbers. Okay. I shouldn't have deleted everything, but it's fine. Grab, go towards the plus, and then just go outwards. The piece is in the place where we want it to be. And then you can just reset back to normal. As you do all of that, 2 is gonna move towards the plus sign along with you. Over here, then grabs, and then goes back to minus sign, minus direction, and then extends out. And then resets. That makes the last one super easy. You just extract out 1 time. So we'll just have him move out once, like that. I don't know when that's going to happen, but let's see how this works out so far. 2, and yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Let's make the last piece fit in by just extending this arm. I think it needs to be step 5 because it needs to move out of the way first, and that's it. Okay. Once again, that, you know, cannot be moved in 2 different directions. Not trying to do that. Oh wait, this is at max length. Ah, I see. There we go. How about this? Nice. That does the trick. Once everyone's done, I just need one piece to rotate and create the final product. So like this. Just one rotation is needed clockwise. Grab, rotate clockwise, and reset. Okay, that's a working machine, but we're not done yet. We need to optimize these end instructions. Do you even need to drop it actually? Let's quickly test that out. Yes, you need to drop it. So let's drop it, and then we can make it return back to its original sequence back here. That's the big thing with resets. They waste a lot of time at the very end. We just move counterclockwise. Yeah, cool. Like the key here is to ensure this is just constantly being used. Like there's no wasted time on this, which it feels like there is. One should start moving already. Like we should be moving the piece inside. I feel like these 2 steps, if I can just move it somehow to the front, I will be in a great shape. Obviously I can move this part up here. Cool, that's good. I don't know what I'm trying to cook up here, but bear with me guys. It's that one last step I feel like I need. So let's not wait for the retract. We move this out of the way, do the drop, and then we do the retract at the beginning. Retract. So to make up for that, we'll start the piece in the final state. What have I done? This. This is the final state. Cool. Okay, this looks good. I know this is super weird, but so this is just a drop plus retract. We can just do that ourselves. Drop and retract. Now that makes life easy again. So let me quickly move these out of the way, and we just shift these to the beginning. 2, 3, and then 4 starts here again. No way. That works. Oh, that is awesome. The only reason I succeeded in whatever I did was stopping the resets and moving all the extra reset instructions to the beginning. All right, airship fuel. Captain Gill asked for something to put in the Van Tassen airship. Apparently it's out of fuel? Oh, that old thing. First time I've heard someone say that old thing in reference to an airship. The last time I remember the airship actually in the air was the celebration for Frederick's birth. Clearly Frederick disappointed his grandfather so much they never took it out again. More likely it's simply been out of fuel this whole time. The whole time? Are you serious? After the old head alchemist died, we had an interim. One for a while who was not great. Hence why the airship never flew again. Got it. What in the world is this thing? We get 3 reagents this time. Oh, that's weird though. That's super weird. In one reagent, we just make these 2 pieces. That would be the better way of accomplishing this in 3 cycles, right? So in 2 cycles, we make 3 pieces. Yeah, let's do that instead. Each of these is going to make a combination of calcified plus fire. I guess I have to use tracks for the best way to move these items. Right, rotate and then push. And then 2 needs to be somewhere. You could just rotate. Boom. So we could have a track right here. It's a pretty neat small little system. So 1 will rotate out and push. Seems straightforward enough. 1 grabs, it rotates clockwise, extend out, and then resets. 2 just grabs, rotates, and job is done. I think I can reduce this actually. 1, 2, and then one has to waste so much time retracting. I don't need a 1, I need a 2. 2 grabs first. Grab item, rotate counterclockwise, reset. And then I have an extra piston that moves it from this to this. Because what that allows is for 2 to reset while 3 is moving the piece. So you're 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm trying to get the numbers in order as well. This is 1, which grabs the item, rotates clockwise, and then resets. All it's doing is moving it to the calcification glyph. In the meantime, 2 and 3 can kind of move at the same time. So 2 grabs here and 3 grabs here as well. 2 rotates clockwise, no, counterclockwise. 3 rotates clockwise. And they both reset. Okay, that works. We can do a quick optimization. So what we do is we drop and then move them in the opposite direction. This goes here and this goes here. So I'll stop, put them in their end state. Yeah, that is awesome system in 4 steps. I need to somehow convert this one single calcified material into this, which seems a little rough. What if I mirrored this whole system, create a replica that works the other way, so that 4 can instead just move it here, move up, and then there's a 5 that rotates it and converts it into this. Awesome, that works. Okay, we have successfully mirrored the item. Now what we get to do is just have 4 drop off the material. 4 drops it off, we have 5 convert it into this. So 4 has dropped. Now this piece starts. Yep. Cool, that's good so far. Basically this is done now. And this needs to be moved into the final position, right? So let me move the combined atoms into a combiner like this. What does the final product look like? This. Now I need to rotate this somewhere. I have done plenty enough. I think I'm just going to add a grabbing mechanism here. Let's see whether this works. So at the very end of everything, when 5 has dropped the piece, we need 6 to come in and just grab it. Grabs, retracts, and then resets. What does that do? That makes the piece, which is cool. But now we need to optimize this for time. Question is, do I even try optimizing this? This is just repeating all these instructions. I can create them really quickly. This, and then drop, and then rotate back. Cool. Grab, rotate counterclockwise, rotate, and then rotate clockwise. Okay, machine should be working as expected. Cool. Now we're gonna cut to the part where I am done repeating the system 3 times. Okay, there is a copy instruction. That is so good. That is genius. There has been one major flaw in my plan. It is that there is only one output. I can't have any more products. This is an unfortunate way to make life tough. I think I can mirror this whole thing to make a similar solution on the other side. I'll move this here. Move this piece back. Use all of this. Rotate them twice this way. So now these 2 machines are producing everything I need. Right? So reagent here, reagent here. And these are going to rotate at the same time, so that's a problem. I don't think that's too big of a deal. Plus, I do need to create space for a 3rd one anyways. Here's what you do with all of this. You move it over by 1. And then 2 just goes on tracks. Let's just add the tracks for 12 real quick. 12 has rotated and 12 needs to move on the plus side of the track. Right, that is 2 right there. The worst part is the final 3rd piece. So now I have the system. Cool. Pieces are being built. Now, all of this area is completely blocked. I can't build any pieces because of this arm rotating. That's fine. So it builds the piece. Second, this piece is built in. Perfect. It's a little bit weird, but once this piece is done building, this piece goes into the center here. what I need is to push the piece diagonally one way, but I can't use any of these pieces. But what I can do instead is I will use tracks to hide the piece away. So I'll have an arm here. And once the first arm is done, you should be good. So 6 does its rotation at this step, which is why we're skipping here. During this time, 19 is going to move towards the center, and it is going to grab onto the item once this is done. So this thing's job is done once it's done pushing the piece all the way. So 18 pushes the piece down here. It's going to reset. 19 is going to move in, grab the piece, push the piece into the length, and then reset. That is so close. Okay, so it turns out I'm building on the entire base track. That's not gonna work. So this is where the atoms are being built. Nope, can't do that. Maybe this 12 is too intrusive. What do I want this 12 to be? Like this? And then accepts an input from here. That would be ideal. Let's work on creating that. Right here. And then 18. Grab, rotates counterclockwise, and resets. Guys, it's finally done. We finally got this thing to work. Okay, 23 CPU cycles. It's finally over. I don't even know what to say. All right, time to take a break for sure.